Michael here with another Michael's Guitar Reviews. Today's review is of a guitar that isn't something I'd normally come across, but it's nonetheless one that's been loaned to me for the purpose of this review. I'm going to review it, and I'm also going to have a rant. I get so cross when somebody has such a fine instrument and abuses it. This one has got a lot of war wounds. We'll go through it. We'll go through it bit by bit. I've calmed down now. Right. It's an Ibanez. This one is the ATK 800, a premium guitar made in Indonesia. Let's have a look through and see what we've got. First of all, a nicely shaped headstock. Interesting, unusual, and particularly of note are hip shot tuners. These are good quality, they are smooth to operate and they stay in tune. The other thing that's nice about them is that the end of the string goes down a hole in the centre when you start the process of restringing, so you don't have those bits of strings lying around that can scratch you. The nut, it's black. I suspect it might not be the original one because here's rant number one, folks, rant alert. It's been replaced. Whoever's replaced it has simply writhed it from its seating position, causing some damage to the lacquer just behind it. They could have avoided that just by scoring a line with a sharp blade and then gently tapping to break the, if there is any glue on there, break the joint and then just gently remove it and not damage it. However, the nut itself is cut precisely. The strings rest on top of it as they should, so they're not deep down into the track, they're just in the hollow and they're sat with a little bit of them, the string proud, which is exactly what it should be. Now, their neck appears to be, could be maple. I think in fact their neck is maple. It's a shallow C profile which flattens out as we get further down. Maple fingerboard, of course, with some small black dot inlays on the front and also at the side. Rant number two. This one has been, I'm going to have to say, butchered. It's got dents and dings and bangs all the way up and down their neck, and the fingerboard, somebody for some reason has decided to put some sort of a coarse instrument and dug a groove in there. Your guess is as good as mine. I just don't understand it. This is a premium instrument. If you had a really nice car or a motorbike or a bicycle or a boat or whatever else it is that tickles you, you're not going to go bashing it about in the car park or harbour or marina or whatever, are you? You're going to look after it. Why don't people do that with nice guitars? Huh? Anyway, rant over for now. We have a body made of a lovely, lovely ash, and it has 5 bolts holding the neck nice and steady. Of course, it's a bolt-on neck. We've got through the body stringing, which is going to add to sustain. And let's turn round to the front. A scratch plate that's mahogany. It's made of mahogany. That's unusual. Relatively tasteful as well. It has the pickups. These are what they call the CAP pickups. One's a kind of a single coily type, and the other's what looks like a double humbucker. I'll come back to those in a minute. Let's just look at this. This escutcheon. You like that word? Escutcheon? It's actually a very large bridge plate, isn't it? Which the manufacturers claim will also increase sustain, and quite a high mass bridge. The strings, of course, come through the hole in the bottom, go over the top of these very standard roll type bridge saddles. They're independently adjustable for height and for backwards and forwards, so you can make sure your guitar's intonated correctly. And it does the job. Now, on the theme of pickups, we've got some selection options here. One of them is you can just play with this front pickup, the one nearest to the neck, or you can play with the front or the rear, two halves, the rear or the front of this humbucker type pickup at the back, or you can blend it. That's to say, you can blend the two parts of that together, or you can have the whole show all in one go. And you do that simply by the use of these controls. And I'll just explain them. This one's a master volume control. This one, rotary control here, it selects either the front pickup or the rear pickup. So that isolates the front one. You've now got just the rear one. Or you can blend the two together by having it in the center position. It's got a notch on it so that you can feel when you're at the central position. Just quickly on these, low, mid and high, independent. This one, when you turn it fully anti-clockwise, kills the sound totally. Now, I don't know whether it's meant to do that, but it does. Now let's look at this three-way selector switch here. When you use this control to select the pickup closest to the bridge, as in that way, you now have three options. You can have the switch, the selector switch to the front, which gives you the front of the humbucker, or all the way down to the back, which gives you the rear, or in the middle. Yes, you guessed it. Right, another rant. Look at the state of this. It's all scratched, dented. Some people like the road-worn look. I don't. I don't know why. I just think, well, if it was a nice guitar, these are not cheap, then you want it to work for a long time, you want it to look after you, you need to look after it. Right, back to the neck. It's slightly wider than a jazz bass, and perhaps fractionally not quite as wide as a precision. But it's still a relatively wide fingerboard if you're used to a jazz style bass. Having said that, the strings are nicely spaced, the action's very good, and overall it's a well-constructed guitar. What does it sound like? Let's have a listen. All the amplifier settings are on this mid position, so there's nothing different about any of this. I'm going to start with all of the controls, the tone controls, all the way around fully clockwise to give us more sort of trebly attack type sound. And we're going to have the pickup selector for this front pickup only, so this switch here becomes totally redundant. Okay, so here we go. Just the front pickup. Okay, let's turn the first of these tone controls, that's the one with the higher registers, all the way around anti-clockwise. Right, let's now bring the middle one all the way around anti-clockwise. Now, without killing the sound altogether, I'll bring the lower register tone switch as far around as I can without it stopping the sound altogether. So all of them now are fully anti-clockwise. A lot of volume loss there. Okay, I'm going to bring those all the way around now, fully clockwise again. And this time I'm going to select the rear pickup. That's the double humbucker, if you like. And I'm going to bring the selector switch at the back here, this one, so that we're selecting the front part of that. Remember, all of these tone controls are fully clockwise. And now I'm going to put the selector switch all the way to the back, so we should be selecting this one, this rear half of the rear pickup. And now we'll go to the central position of this three-way selector switch, so we should be having both of these halves of the humbucker, or both humbuckers if you like, together. Now let's bring the selector switch around to the central position. There's a little notch there, so we've now got all of the pickups together. All of the tone controls are fully clockwise, and we've got the selector switch, the three-way selector switch, in the central position. So everything's all blended together in one nice big pudding. I'll move the selector switch now away, so we've got mostly the bridge side of the humbucker, and we've got the front pickup as well. Let's just bring that tone control to the midway position for each of them and see what happens next. Okay, so this is now blended, both pickups, both parts of the humbucker, everything's in the middle. So what's the verdict? Good quality, well put together, everything's put together nicely. This is an old guitar, it's probably 20 years old. There are a lot of war wounds on this one. I suspect there might also be some issues around the electrics, given that it totally cuts everything off when this bass tone control is brought round fully anti-clockwise, but maybe that's a manufacturing feature. But I would have thought this probably does or would benefit from a bit of attention to some of the electrics. The neck, as I say, if you're used to a jazz bass, this will be a little bit wider, but it's a nice sounding guitar, lots and lots of variety of sound. It feels comfortable. It's not as heavy as a jazz bass or a precision bass. The body appears to be slightly thinner, and it's lighter, which of course makes it better if you're playing live. And it's contoured, of course, which is always a bonus. So this is Michael's Guitar Reviews. I would like to thank you again for watching. I would like to beg, borrow, steal. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. Subscribing is free. It helps the channel grow. The reason I do this is because I am so passionate about guitars, and I love to share them with everybody else. So the more people that subscribe, the more you share it, the more we get to share it together. Anyway, I will always appreciate your constructive comments and feedback. In the meantime, happy playing. Bye for now.